A lot of black people in the Dominican Republic say things like Dominicano. Why are black people in the Dominican Republic trying so hard not to be black and or acknowledge their African ancestry? And rather than saying, yes, I'm black, I'm African descent, they'll say, I'm not black, I'm Hispanic. And
what's up, guys? Welcome back to my YouTube channel once again. My name is Dash Lifestyle. Kindly for watching me for the first time, remember to subscribe, like, share and also comment. To my returning subscriber, thank you so much for always coming back and watching my video, and greetings to my brothers and sisters all the way from Caribbean country. So guys, today I have another video of why do Dominicans, they don't want to be called black, or they don't want to be associated with the black, or even some of them, they are denying their roots from Africa. And guys, you can see we have a lot of black people in Dominican. Then where do they come from? Because majority of them, or the Dominican Republic, they don't want to be associated with black. Even they don't want to be called black. They don't want also their black history in Dominican Republic. So I have a couple of video I'm going to play, so that let's see this video, then I will come back and explain more about this video.
Like, I'm not black. Meanwhile, the picture of their abuelita in the living room.
Okay, Dominican here. I live in the Dominican Republic. I am Dominican. Yo soy Dominicano. I don't live in the States. I live here. I will explain to you why we say we're not black. Okay? And here's... You say that we say like, oh, I'm not black. But if you ask us if we're white, we will also say, no, we're not. I'm not white. It's because of this. First of all, you people from the United States, and I will not say American because America is the continent and we are all Americans. You people from the United States subscribe to the one drop rule. Okay? If you're light skinned, if all of your family members are white and you have like one great uncle who is black, you subscribe as black and you forget about the rest of your genealogy. We don't do that. We don't do that. Because yes, I have a grandmother that looks like the one in the picture from my father's side. But what about my grandmother from my mother's side, who is white? So I forget about her, and I'm totally black, and I'm no longer anything that has to do with her. Since we live in a country that is very mixed since the inception of the country, unlike your country, we don't see things as black or white as race. We see things as a national identity. We don't care about race because everybody here is a little mixture of everything. And when you're a little mixture of everything, the majority of the population in the Dominican Republic is a mixture of everything. There are few people that are like 100% one ethnicity. Since that's the case, we do not subscribe to the one drop rule like you guys do. We're not saying that you're wrong. We're just saying that what you do is not what we do. So if you call a Dominican person black or white or Chinese or whatever, we say no, we're Dominican. I know people from Asian descent that are Dominican, that were born here, but you look at them and you think they're from China, and they tell you, no, I'm Dominican. Because since we're very mixed, all of us, saying that I'm black is dismissing the other parts of my identity, or saying that I'm white dismisses the other parts of my identity. It's not a matter of race. Okay? Understand this. And no, when you say black, we don't think African American, because African American is a thing that doesn't exist unless you were born in Nigeria, okay, and you went to live to the States and you became a United States citizen. Now you're African American. But a person that has been living in the States since their great grandfather, you cannot say you're African American. You have nothing to do with Africa, my friend, just like we do. I don't have anything to do with Africa. Therefore, I'm not black. I'm not white. I'm Dominican. Nothing to do with Africa, my friend, just like we do. I don't have anything to do with Africa. Therefore, I'm not black. I'm not white. I'm Dominican.
You thought you did something there? Hey Google, how did plantains get to Dominican Republic?
On the website savoryonline.com, they say, plantains were brought to the island from Africa and were quick.
And before the Dominicans start, yes, I'm half Dominican. And while I'm also tired of the I know black, I'm Dominican, unprovoked joke, I think it's very disingenuous to sit here on Anthony Santos' internet and front like there's no credence to why this is still a relevant joke. I think it's about time that we as a people sit down and have a constructive, critical conversation about the underlying anti-blackness that joke is highlighting in Dominicans and in Dominican culture. But first, let's address some wild untruths in this man's video.
If all of your family members are white and you have like one great uncle who is black, you'll subscribe as black.
Tell me you don't know anything about the one drop rule without telling me you don't know anything about the one drop rule. Sir, that is not how the one drop rule works. And also in the United States in 2022, we no longer subscribe to the one drop rule at all. In the United States, race is about your phenotypic presentation. And actually race in general all over the world is about your phenotypic presentation, even in Dominican Republic. Because whiteness as a construct globally is exclusive. Anybody who doesn't look white is not white. But anyone who looks even a little bit black is black. In the US and actually still in Dominican Republic, low key.
Been very mixed since the inception of the country. Unlike your country, we don't see things as black or white as race. We see things as a national identity.
True.
We don't care about race.
Dominican Republic was not mixed since its inception. And the US and the Dominican Republic, their history mirror each other. European colonization, mass genocide of indigenous peoples, and the transatlantic slave trade. I agree that Dominicans have a national identity that is not specific to racial identification. But Dominicans absolutely care about race, and Dominicans do see color and see race. They have several racial classifications, even though there's no racial identity. Negro, moreno, jabao, trigueño, indio, blanco, chino. We all describe people as their race, even though there's no strong identification with these races.
So guys, after watching these few clips of Dominican Republic, I have come to realize that the Dominicans, they don't want to be associated with them being called white or black. So they are seeing themselves as a national identity. They want to be identified with their nation. They don't want anything to do with black or white. So that's one point that I've come to realize. Majority of Dominican Republic, they don't want to be divided by races. They don't want races in their country. So all they know it is they are Dominican, not white, not black. And yet we have a lot of black people in Dominican. Also we have a lot of white people in Dominican. Watch this video, then I'm coming back with more explanation.
A lot of black people in the Dominican Republic say things like, yo no. Why are black people in the Dominican Republic trying so hard not to be black and or acknowledge their African ancestry? And rather than saying, yes, I'm black, I'm African descent, they'll say, I'm not black, I'm Hispanic. And sure, technically, because they speak Spanish, they are Hispanic, sure. But speaking the language of the Spaniards that took away everything you are, your culture, your ethnic identity, and your language, and then replace it with theirs, that doesn't make you them. But in this case, African descending people in the Dominican Republic are denying the fact that they descend from somewhere in Africa, more than likely Nigeria, and completely denying the descent and saying, I'm not black, I'm Hispanic. There is such a shame in being black. And what I've come to understand is that when I was a little kid, every single time that I turned on the TV and they showed anything in regards to Africa, they would show all the hungry little kids with the little bubble stomachs digging in the trash and all types of poverty, the most degrading and inferior conditions that people can be depicted as is all I ever saw anytime something about Africa was depicted on television. There was a rapper who did an interview and said, I'm so thankful for slavery because if not for Europeans going over to Africa and bringing us to America, I'd still be an African right now. So you see, that is very sad, and obviously so much internal hatred. But the real question is it their fault? The macro media pushes this narrative and agenda that the standard of beauty is white, and everything about the African, what we were taught in American TV, is inferior, and everything that was been taught about the white folk is superior. Elegance, royalty, right? Then you realize that dark skin and or black is associated with poverty and inferiority. So then when Dominicans say, I'm not black, it's like saying, no, I'm not poor, I'm not inferior, I'm Hispanic, I'm superior. This is internalized racism, absolutely. But if you do some research, you realize it makes sense why we're like this. Why we don't want to associate ourselves with what we've been indoctrinated to believe is poor, inferior, and everything negative. We want to associate ourselves with everything that is beautiful, superior, and class.
I've come and done some of the researches to why the Dominican, they don't want to be differentiate with races, either being called black or white. It is because the influence which it is in Dominican Republic up to date, it is because of their former president, Rafael Trujillo. I hope I'm pronouncing that name correctly. So Rafael came and told the Dominicans not to be differentiate with races. Everybody is a Dominican Republic. Nobody is white, nobody is black. That's why you will see a lot of Dominicans not being called either black or white, and that's why you have seen to those videos. We have black people in the Dominican who they have their roots from Africa, but they have denied they are not talking about their roots from Africa. So they are saying they are Dominicans. Also, we have a lot of Asian people in Dominican. We have white people in Dominican. So what they know is they are Dominicans. They know what there's no white or black, and thus it is because of their former leader, who is their former president, who was Rafael Trujillo. And also, I'm being in the research, I can see the Rafael Trujillo also, he was an Asian. And because of him being an Asian, he didn't want people in Dominican to know that he's coming from Asia, because he was hating Asian and African, the black people. So he was wearing a makeup. You can imagine a whole leader wearing a makeup, because the biggest mistake is because you are Asian. And also he didn't want to he was hating on black people in the Dominican. So instead of this, he come and saw, instead of people being differentiated with races, he should abolishing people differentiated with races, and said all of us, we are Dominican. And that's why I'm keep on telling you that in the whole of the Caribbean, I think Jamaica, it is the only Caribbean country which it has accepted its roots from Africa, which we have more people from Jamaica who they are coming from West Africa. And also we have a lot of more people from Dominican who they are African, the real African. They came from, their roots is from Africa. But because of the leader, they change their mind, and they don't want to be associated with Africa. And also another thing which the Dominicans, they don't want also to be associated with African. It is also because of how they see Africa. It is because of how they have seen the image of Africa. You know, when you're talking about Africa, we look like people who are dying. We look like people who we are dying of hunger. Yeah, Africa, it is being associated with the poor continent. So, and that's why also this is another thing which makes a lot of Caribbean people, some of the Caribbean people, not to be associated with Africa. They don't want to be called Africa. It is because of these white people, how they have put the image of Africa online. You know, I keep anybody who was coming from Africa, when you see a white man coming from Africa, and after finishing touring Africa, if you ask him or her, what did you see, what did you like about Africa, so he will tell you, I saw Africa on TV with a mother crying, feeding the baby, the background, the thing it is, I mean, it was not a good image of how these people, they have portrayed Africa. And because of this black in the Dominican also seeing the pictures of Africa, they don't want to be associated with Africa. But the good thing, I have come and learned about Jamaica. Jamaicans, they have really accept African, and majority of them, they have been here in Africa. They have seen how Africa it is. Africa, it is beautiful. So to those Dominicans, even if you don't want to be associated with races, it is also good to know you are where you came from. Yeah, it is good also not to say you are not a white, you are not a black, you are Dominican. Yeah, it is good. And also we have a few people in Jamaica also. They keep on telling, I'm not from Africa, I'm Jamaica. Yeah, we also have them, but I agree with you. You are a Jamaican, you are a Dominican Republic, but where you came from, it is Africa. Yeah. So guys, I was telling you the reason why Dominican Republic, they don't want to be associated with, differentiate with races. It is because of their former leaders. So there is a lot of story behind that, but I will come back with the next video and I will tell you what really happened to their former leader, their former president, Rafael. So subscribe if you haven't, like this video, share and also comment.